So let's move into the stuff that's a little bit higher proof.
All right.
So let's go to Old Weller Antique. So this used to be a 7-year. It has since lost the 7-year designation, the 7-year statement. So this still falls in that 6 to 8 range. It's maintained the proof though. So this is still 107 proof. And you're looking at about $50.
Okay.
This is also, along with the full proof, you can do store picks of these.
Oh.
So you can do private selections of the OWA.
Can't imagine how much Buffalo Trace product you'd have to sell to get an allocation for a barrel.
I do have one at home, so I'll bring it for the holiday one. We'll see if it's any different. In my experience, it was not usually that much different.
Yeah.
But now we're getting up into the proof. So this is 107 proof.
This smells good.
And I will say this has generally been my favorite, although I've never compared it directly with the full proof.
Oh, really? Okay. So right away, and this is one of those things that I always find interesting because there's basically 2 ways you can get more flavor into a whiskey short of like barrel finishing. But keeping all things equal, you can, if you have the same barrels, you can either up the proof or you can let it sit longer, right? And so I think this is a cool dichotomy of this one's almost half the age of the 12-year, but it's got 50% or 30% more actual whiskey in it.
Right.
And to me, I like this aroma better.
The nose is better. It's brighter. Here I start to get some of that really classic orange peely note, like the citrus kind of funk that you get with a wheater. And so this, to me, smells like more of your big kind of well-aged wheater.
Yeah, I like this. To me, has more of the citrus. It has a little more of less oak, obviously, but it's just a little more lively, and it makes the 12 smell like just a little dull. Like, and people talk about like with wine, like how wines will age and peak at certain ages and fall off, and I think bourbon's the same way. As it ages in that barrel, there's peaks of and valleys of flavor, and I feel like when you talk about stuff getting over oaked, sometimes it's not even that the oak is too dominant in the flavor profile. It's just that the oak starts to pull off those vibrant flavors.
Yeah, it starts to detract from the rest of the flavors of the whiskey.
And so like even though I wouldn't say the Weller 12 tastes incredibly oaky, like it's not like licking a slab of oak, you can tell that it's just past that point where the whiskey tastes like fresh.
And it's noticeably more tannic than this. Mm-hmm. Here the vanilla is present. But I think what I like about it the most is that the extra proof points, even though, we're still not super hot, we're at 107 proof, it cuts through the oak a little bit, and it almost creates like a spiciness that you would normally get from rye because of the alcohol.
All right, that one's good.
It's really good.
That one's really good.
I didn't want to mention this in the beginning, but when I collected these and when they were available, I had 1 or 2 bottles of Weller 12 in my entire life. I gave one away as a gift. The other one I kept and I sort of drank. And when friends came over that were quote unquote bourbon guys, I gave them some.
Am I a quote unquote bourbon guy?
No, because you've always been snobby like me.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know because like I lean more towards Scotch, so I didn't know if I was like a fake.
No.
Okay.
But OWA, to this day, if I see it, I would buy it.
This is good.
I like it.
This one excites me.
Yeah, it's not super complex, but I do really enjoy it. I think for what it is, if you can find this for $50, you're not going to, but even if you have to pay 60 or 70, it's probably worth doing.
Well, you will if you get it at an ABC in Florida. Okay, in Florida, Weller is exclusive to ABC. I don't know how other states go, but I do think this is one of the ones, if you get there, if they get 6 bottles I don't think this is one of the ones they only give out through their vault program, is it?
I don't think so.
That still doesn't really count as being able to get it hardly.
And I don't honestly know if they have a strict contract with Weller anymore.
Really?
In exclusivity. No, because I've seen full proof at plenty of stores. And I've seen the special reserve at other stores.
Plenty of stores?
I have, yeah.
You mean like marked up or?
Oh yeah, marked the hell up, like way up. But I have seen it.
But see, I always assume that's just those store owners disregarding the law as far as the 3-tier system goes.
I don't know. I haven't seen any Weller of any kind at ABC in quite some time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Regardless, if you can find this, I do think it's worth it.
This one's great. And I would say I generally would skew more towards older, lower proof than younger, higher proof. Like as a general rule of thumb. But in this case, I think the higher proof, it's still a mature whiskey. And that high proof, like you were talking about, adds some spice and kick to it. It's almost like a little bit of cinnamon kind of character, which I really enjoy.
It has a spicy backbone to it. And I think, again, it's the combination of the younger, brighter barrel spice with the slightly higher proof point.
Yeah.
And I like that because it doesn't feel flat on your palate. Mm-hmm. Like it hits your palate and it kind of brightens up a little bit. And to me, the finish is longer on this than the other two.
Yeah. I don't know if the finish is longer than the 12-year, but the 12 years finish it's like a tail downwards because it's tannins.
Right. Yeah.
And so it just leaves like a drying flavor, whereas this, it leaves like spice on your tongue. So
yeah, I just taste this a little bit longer. And I think it's because of the the orange peel. Like that and sort of the oakiness is what I'm left with.
That's a really tasty whiskey. I'm glad I have a bottle of this. I did get one of these at ABC.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it's not opened.
Did you get it from the vault or did you get it
from I got it at the same time as one of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you did well then.
Either that or it just appeared in my collection one
Maybe.
day.
You did well then because most people don't find it.
Or maybe Tommy sold me one. I bet that's what it was. I bet Tommy got one at one point and he let me buy it off of him.
That's probably
more
likely.
Realistic.
Yeah. So have you ever had Full Proof?
I have not.
All right. So let's move on to Full Proof. And
this one comes on a blue label.
Yeah. So this is the newest. I don't remember when this came out, 2018, 2019, probably somewhere around there.
They could use better labels on these. For the
Do you remember what they used to look like?
No, but
holy crap, they were horrible.
But I'm just saying, for the brand that is just like printing billions of dollars of whiskey money, like these labels get so beat up so quickly and frayed on the edges.
If people are going to buy it anyway, who cares?
Yeah, but you have some pride in your product, people.
They used to have these old, like, cream-colored labels. They were horrid. So this is a step up.
Ooh,
so
here, we get a cork pop.
Yeah, you get a point. Oh, nice. So same age, 6 to 8. The only difference, really, when you get into Special Reserve, OWA, and this is the proof it's at. This is at 114. So for those of you who don't know, full proof, the term full proof means that the spirit has been proofed back to the level that it of barrel entry. So they do barrel entry here at 114, so it's probably going to go up as it ages, but then you proof it back down to 114, and that's the full proof.
Dude, the Special Reserve tastes like water after.
I'm telling you, it does.
After tasting the antique.
That's why I said we didn't want to do this blind, because you'd be like, you're shitting me, right? You just poured me water and put a couple drops of bourbon in it.
Yeah, that's funny. Because, like, again, when that's the first one that you taste, to me, like, I'm not like immediately like, oh, that's super thin, you know?
Yeah.
But when you
go back
directly like down 20 proof points, it makes a pretty substantial difference.
Well, and the flavor, I mean, regardless of the proof, even the flavor is
a lighter flavor.
Yeah. So here you're at 114. Everything's the same, really, except the proof.
Yeah, this is.
Now, what I don't know is if they select certain barrels for this or not.
I was gonna say this to me smells like, even though the proof, because that's only 7 proof points higher.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't make that big a difference.
And if you assume that it's in the same age range, which everything says that it is, it shouldn't be that different.
I feel like this might be just heavier barrels.
It smells bigger.
Yeah.
Like I was comparing the two.
Like I'm thinking barrels at the top of the warehouse or barrels that were slightly heavier char or something.
By comparison, like if you nose them side by side, the OWA smells almost mapley. Like there's a lighter, and I think that's some of the vanilla characteristic coming out. When you smell the full proof, it just smells spicier and bigger and richer.
Yeah, I just get a lot more caramel toffee on the full proof than the antique.
It smells good.
It smells very good. I like them both, but there is a slight darkness or heaviness to the full proof over the OWA.
Yeah, that's good. You get more traditional bourbon notes from this than you do the others. You're right. There's more caramel. There's more toffee. You get less of the sort of weeder funk, but it's there. But it's got that kind of candy sweetness to it.
I think I prefer the OWA though.
I mean, I'm going to try them side by side.
I mean, there is a difference between them. So if you were someone who has either OWA or full proof and you're thinking about, and you had the opportunity to buy the other one and you thought, oh, no reason to, because it's basically the exact same bourbon. It does not taste the same. The full proof definitely tastes more like traditional bourbon to me, whereas the OWA has more of the weeder character to it.
Yeah. And to me, the OWA comes off as a little sweeter, but I don't know. I kind of lean towards the full proof, but you know me with proof. If you poured me both, I'd be happy with either.
I would not say that I could reliably discern between these two from a proof standpoint in a tasting though. I think it's too close.
I think the full proof burns a little bit longer on the finish. Like it leaves a little bit more of residual heat.
I do get a little more in my throat on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a little bit bigger hug than the OWA does.
Kentucky hug.
It's got a little bit more hug.
So here's the other question. Are we going to blend Poor Man's Pappy while we've got all these here? Is this what's the special?
Yeah. So I was way ahead of you.
He was ahead of me.
So I did a Poor Man's Pappy blend.